So this dream was on 3/13 of 22 at 9:06 a.m. And the dream starts with I'm in Naperville, that's the town I used to live in, at a funeral slash memorial, and I'm in the audience. My dad is sitting across from me up front as part of a family with others. It's inside, but it's also outside. While I'm sitting on the ground, the place starts to fill up with people around me. Someone sits to my right, and it's feeling very crowded. Water is flowing on the ground, and I am trying to find my purse. I eventually find it, but things are wet. I also help someone else gather their things. I tell them no worries, I used to live here, as I notice now that we are at Royal Portrush. Royal Portrush was the name of the street that my house was on. I head on over to where dad is, and he has a toddler on his lap that looks just like Grandma Behringer. That's his mom. Old adult face on a toddler body. I go to sit down on the couch on his left, and I start talking to two male Behringer cousins who are sitting on the couch already. End of dream.
Case you're at a funeral home.
It's a, it's it. I don't think it was actually a funeral home, but it was more like a funeral slash memorial.
Okay. And you're sitting next to your dad, you said?
I'm sitting in the audience, and my dad is like up front, like he's part of a family.
Oh, okay. Um, and then who was holding the baby that looked like
My dad was, yeah.
who
So
was holding
he
a
was
baby that looked like your mom?
that looked like his mom.
It's his mom. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So old adult face. So it's her adult face on a toddler body.
Is she still alive?
No, she passed, and then my dad also passed 11 years ago.
Okay. Interesting. Just the idea of generational inheritance. Something on your dad's mom's side that's being passed down to you. Something that's being reborn in your era, even though they have passed on. God is showing you something that is literally showing up that's going to be memorable of who they are. I feel like it could be inheritance, physical inheritance, but I feel like it's almost like you're going to see characteristics, whether it's in you or your kids, could be in your kids, they're going to show up that are going to remind you of your dad and his mom. And it's the idea of there. It can even be the idea of that there's something that God had as far as a destiny for them in their generations that maybe hasn't been completed, that you may have access to and be able to complete. You think, and people that think that's weird, just read the Bible. You know, David really wanted to build a house of dwelling for the Lord, and God said no, it wasn't his to build, it was for his son. And so, but that was a very, very strong desire and a promise that he made to God was to build the temple. And so what he did is he became probably the largest donor as far as donating supplies and stuff in order for Solomon to be the one to actually build the place for God to dwell, which was the temple. So it's the idea of generational inheritance related to identity and destiny that is being passed on. And it could be to you since you're in the crowd and you see all this, but it's something I feel like had to do with your grandmother. And the actionable intelligence would be get to know your grandmother, study, find out her history, ask the people that were of her generation that are still alive, listen to as many stories, and even pray, not to your grandmother, of course, but to God, and just say, I feel like there's something that you want to impart to me that's going to be new because it was a baby, but it's going to be reminiscent of who she was. It'd be interesting to know what her faith walk was like and all of that. And even if it wasn't the best, it could be one of the reasons why it falls to you in this generation to complete the work that God had for her.
Right. I've actually done that. I found out some things that there were a few things that we're very similar in. With my grandma and myself, I called my aunt the other day, and so she tuned me in. I think I was wondering about just how the two male cousins who were already sitting on the couch, and then I came and I sat next to them.
Mm-hmm. Two male cousins already sitting on the couch, and you came and sat next to them.
Yeah, so I go to sit down on the couch on my father's left, and I start talking to two male Behringer cousins who are sitting on the couch already.
They're couched
Right.
in the inheritance also.
Okay.
And I also feel like it's the idea that um, it could be something that your cousins could help you with, whatever this generational inheritance. It could be, I feel like it could be a thing that you get to accomplish, maybe something that she wanted to build that she didn't get to do, or a work that she wanted to do that she didn't get to do. But it also, whether they have a piece in it or whether it's any one of the three of you in your generation to be able to pick up and run with. I believe it represents both of those. Not
Sherri,
that it's competition, but
what was the name of the street that you were talking about? You said Royal Port Rush, was it?
Mm-hmm. Right.
You got three things that are filling up. One, the place that you're having this memorial service fills up with people, right? And it's really
Right.
getting crowded. The second thing that starts to fill up is the water in the place. It starts to
Right.
rise. You pull the purse off the ground to kind of clear the way, but it's filling. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
second filling. And the name Royal Port Rush, it's a royal inheritance. To me, the port almost, I don't see that as like a port wine. I see it like a port where ships going. And there's a rushing, this royal rushing that's going to flood in for your family. So it's like three fillings that you've got. I think it's the water of the Holy Spirit that it's talking about. Out of our innermost being shall flow rivers of living water. And it goes to what's the Great Commission, is to be fishers of men and draw all of these people unto the Lord. And I think that kind of might point to what your inheritance points towards, is a filling and a ministry towards people. But that's just way too generic. But being fishers of men,
Well, and when you say Port Rush Royal, I hear Royal Flush. Yeah.
Royal flush. That's good.
Literally the idea of being handy in your winnings, having a good hand in poker, and the idea that the lines have fallen for you in pleasant places. And it talks about scripturally, do not move the ancient boundary line, right? So I'm just wondering, related to this discussion, if real estate might be involved in this somehow.
That's awesome.
So you want to share that giggle with us, or?
Yeah, there's there have been some promises of land inheritances for me that I've heard God say over and over again. So I like that you said that. That's for sure.
Nice. All right,
Yeah.
cool.